In fact, let me show you. I think we've got some footage. I'd love to get your response to this footage, because Gaza, over the last 16 months, have a look at the screen, has suffered an apocalyptic level of destruction. This is a recent drone video from January. 70% of the buildings destroyed. Look at that imagery. That is not an anti-terror operation. That is not just targeting Hamas. That is, look at the imagery. That is something out of, I don't even know is it a Mad Max movie? It's entirety destruction. If that's not genocidal, I don't know what is.
Mehdi, by every measurement of urban warfare, Israel has
Please don't give me a talking point, Joe.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at that.
Respond to the footage.
I'm responding to the footage.
You don't give a damn about that.
No, I do. Don't say that. I do give a damn. I do give a damn.
I'm talking about urban warfare
stats.
No,
it is.
I know the stats. I can give you stats. I'm asking you to respond to that footage.
Agreed. And
entire cities and towns wiped
Gaza
out.
needs to be rebuilt.
That's
no
not
doubt.
engaging with the footage.
No, it is.
What is your human reaction to seeing entire towns, cities, refugee camps wiped out?
My reaction is that really sucks. That's horrible. That needs to be rebuilt. But I'm not going to lay the lion's share of the blame on Israel.
The people who wiped that out. The people who chose to drop 2,000-pound bombs on civilian homes, apartments, buildings.
I'm going to lay the lion's share of the blame on Hamas for starting the war on October 7th, knowing exactly what would happen, hiding for years behind their civilians, putting their civilians in harm's way. I'm not going to blame the army.
It's a very strange argument that says they started a war knowing that would happen. So So hold on. So if I start a fight with a known gangster or murderer, and he kills a bunch of my family in response, it's my fault?
Oh.
No, seriously, the law, it's a very strange argument. You're basically conceding that Israel was going to respond in a genocidal way. That's what you're saying. You're saying Hamas started knowing Israel would do that. That doesn't make it morally right what Israel did.
I'm not conceding that's a genocidal way.
What is that? What is that imagery in your eyes? I'm trying to understand what is that imagery.
That is a horrible result.
So when I look at, for example, that destruction, I don't think you would defend that if it wasn't Israel that was doing it. Similarly, 6-year-old Hind Rajab, you always say Hamas, Hamas, Hamas. This is the great excuse for Israel committing war crimes. You have a 6-year-old girl, Hind Rajab, infamously killed in a car with her 4 cousins, her uncle and aunt, all killed by an Israeli tank that was firing at them. She makes a 911 call. Very, very tragic, horrific call. They send 2 paramedics, the Palestinians, to rescue her. The Israelis killed the paramedics as well in the ambulance. Sky News, the Washington Post have all debunked the Israeli denials that their tank wasn't in the area at the time. The UK independent investigators, Forensic Architecture, they looked at it and said that the Israelis fired 335 bullets into this car and that the tank driver had to have seen that there were children sitting in this car. How do you defend that, Joe?
I don't.
You do. I've got a quote from you that says, Israel deserves immense praise for winning this war as carefully as they can. Would you say that to the remaining family members?
No, let me finish.
Would you say that to their faces of Hind Rajab's family?
Oh, God, no. Mehdi, look, I defend the way Israel... Let me finish.
In abstract, which is why I give specific.
No, I
know how people do this. Abstract.
No.
Specific.
So let me address both.
Yeah.
I agree. Broadly speaking, I defend the way Israel has fought this war, acknowledging that, and let me finish this thought, that mistakes are made in every war, and that there are purposeful, indefensible acts made even by the IDF and any military. And that's an example of one. And this is...
So you're agreeing then that in this war that you support, Israel has committed war crimes?
I agree. Purposeful... Yes, mistakes have been made.
No, not mistakes.
I'm not going to...
Mistake is, I shot that person, I didn't mean to shoot that person. A war crime is, I deliberately killed a civilian, which you seem to concede for a moment and then you pulled back.
No, hold on. I don't know that I'm going to call it a war crime.
Why?
I'm going to say, I don't know.
What's killing a child with 335 bullets isn't a war crime?
Give me the formal definition of war crime.
A violation of international humanitarian law, deliberately targeting civilians. What every human rights group... I mean, I could start reading to you from... I could read to you from the International Criminal Court Chief Prosecutor's indictment.
Yes.
We know because he's literally charged the Prime Minister you support with war crimes.
I'm going to say yes, Israel's made mistakes. I'm going to say yes.
War crimes. No, I'm asking war crimes.
Israel, call it what you want. Israel.
No, I'm asking you to call it.
And I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I'm going to tell you.
No, Joe. No, I'm not going to let you run away with it. You can shout all you want. 335 bullets fired into a car with children. Is that a war crime?
I don't. You know what? Could be. Investigate it. But God damn it,
it was investigated, Joe.
This is what Hamas does all the time.
Right. Joe,
hiding behind civilians is a war crime. You know what slays me about you?
By the way, you said I see you say this all the time.
What?
Hiding behind civilians. And yet when Israelis actually use Palestinians as human shields, you don't say anything. Last week it emerged, I checked your Twitter, Joe, you can correct me.
What?
Last week it emerged that an 80-year-old man, Israeli press reported, was being used as a human shield. They were taking him into houses, putting him in front of them, an actual human shield. Right, they were using a Palestinian man.
But
they've done that many times. Do you know they've sent? Let me finish the sentence. They send Palestinians into tunnels in Gaza. Have you condemned that as? Have you condemned that as the use of human shields?
Was not aware of it, and if I was aware of it, I'd condemn it.
It's all over the Israeli press.
Why are you not acknowledging that this is Hamas's policy, and this has been their policy from day one?
What I acknowledge about Hamas is irrelevant because I don't support Hamas.
Let me hear you say it.
I don't support Hamas. Do you support Hamas?
Do
you support Hamas?
No.
Do you support Hamas?
No.
I don't support Hamas. So that's done. Do I support Israel?
Stop for a minute.
Can I finish a sentence?
No.
Can I finish a sentence?
Not when you don't let me finish sentences.
Joe, let me finish mine. But I promise I'll let you give a long answer. I'll give you a long answer if you let me finish this one sentence. I don't support Hamas. Do you support Hamas?
No.
I don't support Israel. Do you support Israel?
Yes.
So that's what we're going to talk about. Let's play a clip here. Let's play a clip for you to watch. We got a clip of a grandmother. Here's a grandmother. Maybe you're not aware of this one. This is a Palestinian grandmother in her 50s. She's holding a child, right, in her arm. He's got a white flag. She's shot in cold blood by an Israeli sniper who's...
Mehdi, I don't know what the hell that was. That's not... How do I know?
It's a sniper who shot at a Palestinian grandmother.
Mehdi, you invite me on, you show me a clip of that,
famous clip,
and you tell me what it is. I'm sorry, okay, I'm not familiar with that. Okay? I'd like to know what that is. I'm not familiar with that.
You know I can go through multiple examples, right? You know that. I can start reading multiple examples. The Al-Dos family in Gaza, whose apartment building was bombed. We can go through each and every example.
But where you and I will disagree is this. And I'm telling you, this is ugly and it's horrible and it's unfortunate.
It's war crimes.
It's not Israel's policy to target civilians.
Let me read to you about Israeli policy. This is from Haaretz last year, Israeli newspaper. You're saying you're not aware of this. Let me tell you this. An Israeli soldier relays that a senior commander asked him to shoot an unarmed man with a white flag. He said he's got a white flag. He says, I don't care, shoot him, it's an order. Another Israeli soldier told Plus 972 there were no restrictions on ammunition. We could just shoot to relieve our boredom. We don't need to explain. You just shoot. When soldiers see someone approaching, it's permissible to shoot them. We can shoot a young girl, an old woman. This is testimony from Israeli soldiers, Joe, that it's a free fire zone. They can shoot and kill whoever they want. That is a policy. That is a war crime, and many would argue that's genocide. I went through your Twitter, Joe.
Let
me just ask you.
Mehdi,
I just want to ask, just want to check your views.
I don't.
So let's check, so viewers know your views. So
generally, I don't.
You don't criticize Israel?
No, I will, but generally, I don't.
So for example, 40,000 Palestinians in the West Bank have been driven from their homes. The Israelis said you can't come back. That's a war crime. Do you condemn that? Just in the last few weeks. Do you criticize that?
What do you mean they've been driven from their homes?
They've been pushed out by the Israeli military. 40,000 people, the size of a town in your old district in Illinois, just gone. And they've been told you cannot come back. Netanyahu's sitting in their house in a photo. You would go mad if Vladimir Putin was sitting in a Ukrainian home.
Mehdi, I don't understand what... Pull back for a minute. After October 7th, what would you have had Israel?
The West Bank has nothing to do with October 7th. That's why I specifically asked about the West Bank, because I know you're obsessed with going back to October 7th. Hamas as if the world began.
I'm sorry.
The West Bank. Hamas does not run the West Bank.
I didn't know you were talking about the West Bank.
I'm talking about the West Bank. 40,000 people driven from their homes by violent settlers. You've been watching the violent settlers, crazy people. I assume you don't agree with them. They make Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump look moderate, the far-right Israeli settlers.
They are as close as we've got to radical Islamist terrorists.
And they are driving people out of their homes, 40,000 people. Do you condemn that? I've not seen you say a word about that on your social media and your shows. That's happening right now. I don't hear you criticizing Israel for it.
I don't.
You don't criticize Israel for driving 40,000 people from their homes?
No, I don't. Look, Israel has to, they're not going to make the same mistake they made in Gaza.
They're doing exactly what they did in Gaza, actually. They're displacing people from their homes.
What do you mean they're doing what they did in Gaza?
Well, 1 million people have been driven from their homes in Gaza.
Because
and now we have 50,000 people.
Why?
Because Israel is breaking international law. 200 kids killed in the West Bank since October 7th. Are you okay with that?
No, I'm not okay.
Israel? Okay, do you condemn Israel for killing 200 children in the West Bank?
I'd have to know, Mehdi.
You'd have to know how the children were killed.
Yes, I'd have to know how the children was killed. Who's responsible for the children
killed? The Israelis are.
Just like
the Israelis
are.
Yeah,
just like I want to know every Israeli,
these are kids killed with
every
snipers.
Settler killed in the West Bank. Look, Mehdi, this is
200 kids killed. And you can't bring yourself to condemn that.
I do condemn it. I want to know.
You did just a moment ago. You literally did not.
I don't know who killed those 200
Israel
kids.
did, according to every international observer. Human rights.
Show me.
The UN.
Show me.
Show me what?
Show me
the children.
Show me every instant where the and I'll show you a terrorist attack where 6 Israelis.
There is not true. There are no many of these cases involve children.
No,
who are
I'll
near.
show you a terrorist
video
attack
from Channel
where
4 News.
Israelis
You're just making
were
stuff
killed.
up now.
No, I'm not.
You are. I said to you, many kids are killed, and you just assume there's a terrorist attack. No.
Mehdi, you make this sound like a one-sided affair forever. I know the war's been going on
maybe
forever.
That's telling. Maybe that's telling.
But what do you mean maybe that's telling?
It is
Stop.
one-sided.
Stop.
One side is the occupier, the other side is occupied. One side has nuclear weapons and is killing thousands of children. The other side does not kill
Let me
thousands
ask you
of
a question.
children.
Answer this. There's no peace in that region. Why? Is it completely
Because of
one-sided?
Benjamin Netanyahu.
That's why.
No, those are his words, not
that's
mine.
why.
Those are his words, not mine.
No, I'm asking.
It's funny because you said recently.
I'm not. I'm
glad you
not
brought this
asking.
up. You said there would be peace in the Middle East tomorrow if the Palestinians wanted peace and agreed Israel has a right to exist. That's all it would take. And that's all. It's on the Palestinians, you said. Israel has always wanted peace. Ehud Olmert came on my show. He doesn't agree with you. Ehud Barak doesn't agree. There are Israeli politicians who say, actually, no, Israeli governments have blocked peace.
Let me ask you something.
Netanyahu said recently, no, Joe, you don't get to ask me a question.
No, let me answer.
No, then I'm going to answer it 4 times.
Let me answer.
Answer my question.
I'm not going to accept
Benjamin
your answer.
Netanyahu says, I'm the guy who blocked peace, blocked a Palestinian state for decades. He's bragging about blocking peace. And you're pretending that Israel is the block.
Hold on. I'm asking you.
I can read you the quote.
I'm asking you. I want to make sure I heard you correct.
Go on.
There is not peace in that region. Are you telling me that's all on Israel?
It's not all on Israel, but it's mostly on Israel.
It's mostly on Israel. Going back 70, 80 years.
Oh, of course. If you want to get into 1948, we could do that. There'll be another show. We don't have time for that today. But in terms of the last couple of decades of the quote-unquote peace process, Netanyahu said, his words, everyone knows that I am the one who for decades blocked the establishment of a Palestinian state. He's saying it out loud, and then you go on Twitter and say it's all the Palestinians' fault. That's absurd.
It is, because the Hamas, the PLO, majorities of the Palestinian people for years and decades do not believe Israel has a right to exist.
That's not
do you
true.
acknowledge that?
No,
that is true, Mehdi.
Arafat in 1993, the
true.
PLO recognizes the state of Israel's right to exist in peace and security. That was 1993.
It's part of Hamas.
And who ended that peace process? Netanyahu.
Who ended that peace process?
Rabin's widow blames Netanyahu. She says my husband's dead.
Rabin's widow does.
Yeah.
And Arafat walked away from it as well.
That you are more pro-Netanyahu than Rabin, Barak, Olmert. It's weird that Joe Walsh is more pro-Netanyahu than Israeli leaders who blame Netanyahu for this.
I'm pro-Israel.
No.
I'm pro-Israel.
Because the Israelis don't agree with you. Thousands of Israelis took
And I do not sit in front of you and say that this is all one-sided like you pretty much say.
Joe, you're lying.
Crap,
Okay, I'm going to read the quote to the viewers. It is on the Palestinians.
Yes.
That's what you just said.
I stand by that.
So you just lied.
No, hold on.
Joe,
I didn't
10 seconds
just
ago
lie.
you said I didn't say I put it all on the Palestinians. I'm going to read the
don't,
quote again.
Mehdi, I don't put it all on the Palestinian
it is on the
people.
Palestinians. Israel has always wanted peace.
Yes.
That is putting it all on the Palestinians.
No, hold on. No, it's not.
I'll read it a third time.
No,
That's all it would
Mehdi,
take.
don't
You
read
can't
it a
pull
third
my
time.
questions out
Let
of
me
my hand.
answer the freaking question. Yes. The Palestinian people have to say that. And if they say that, Mehdi, then the Israeli people have to accept that. I do
said it
believe
multiple times.
bull crap.
Well,
if the
you don't know what you're talking about.
No, you don't. If the Palestinian
No, I can give you evidence.
If
You've
the
not given any evidence
Palestinian
today.
people said tomorrow, if they all rose
They
up.
said it in 1993, 1988. The Arab Peace Initiative, 2002, 2007,
Bullshit.
2017.
It was part of the PLO chapter as of a few years ago.
multiple times.
It's still part of Hamas's chapter.
That's Hamas, not the PLO.